Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. It's currently 6:02. Calling the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting to order. We are here in central office, and the meeting is being held hybrid. So the second agenda item is the review of the March 3rd, 2026 and the March 18, 2026 meeting notes, attachment 1 and 2. Are there any edits to the minutes?
Nope, I reviewed them and I found them to be accurate.
Okay. Jay? Okay.
No, I didn't have any suggestions. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the minutes are approved as distributed with no edits. Third item is the Director of Finance report. Rita, feel free to take over. Thank you. Hi, Sam.
Okay, Caitlin.
Oh, I forgot to announce everyone.
Is that big enough on the screen? Not as big as I can make it. Okay, so first item is the year-to-date financials. So as you can see, I added the non-lapsing funds on the bottom of the first page to indicate that we haven't transferred the actual expenses out of the general fund yet. But that would be the balance once I transfer those funds. I just want to point out that in the 500s we have taken a credit for the of children with disability. You know, we've received those funds, and the credit was taken against special ed transportation. So that's in my notes and my narrative on the first page. A lot of these notes on the side is you're going to see in the true-up transfer, number 1 for this year. It's in the budget transfers. And I made notes on the side whether or not we still have to make a transfer or if it's in that true-up. Do you have any questions?
Rita, I don't recall if when we voted was special ed transportation one of the items for the non-lapsing. So with the DIA coming in, does that give us an opportunity to reallocate?
I don't think special ed transportation was part of the non-lapsing.
Okay.
I have that right in front of me. It was regular transportation.
Regular transportation. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So it's showing a balance, currently of the 143, and we are monitoring the encumbrances.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all the notes I have. If you have questions, I can try to answer them if you have any questions.
So the balance after you remove the non-lapsing fund transfer, that's $807,000.
Right.
Where am I subtracting the $663,000 from?
Well, it's coming out of multiple places, and I can show you that on another attachment. I'm not sure if it was attached or if it was in your packet. There's a non-lapsing funds budget that was approved at the March meeting, right?
Yeah.
So it's coming out of a couple different buckets.
Okay.
I think the main 275,000 is coming out of the regular transportation, and almost over 400,000 is coming out of the 500s. So as you can see, the 500s are over the 700,000, so that will make up some of that shortfall.
Are you just waiting on something to move that in to the budget? Or,
I'm waiting on the okay from the town.
Oh,
The audit is done,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, but I just received, I know we have it on the agenda as well.
Yes.
So I
Okay.
can talk about that.
yeah, we'll talk about
Okay.
that, yeah. So,
Now, that's right, you can't do anything with the non-lapsing
Until they have it set up.
yeah, until they have it, okay.
I thought they were done with that.
It's a draft.
Yeah, it's drafted, and I think it's going by the end of the month to the, to all the,
okay.
I guess they have to send it to all the partners and stuff.
Yeah, so probably by,
By the next
May,
meeting.
Our next meeting?
I'm
Okay.
hoping to be able to have that all transferred. Yeah,
That'd be good.
that would be good.
Anything we should be concerned about?
I'm watching it really closely, and I know the principals are putting in a lot of their supplies and things that they need for the end of the year. I'm seeing a lot of purchase orders coming through this past week, so that is not counted in here.
Yep. I know before you came, they used to say that our bus invoices are always like in arrears, not just like a month, but like 2 or 3 months. Like, do you know how far back we are, and are we gonna exceed it even more?
I don't think we're that far behind in the invoicing,
Okay.
but I am going to be, that's one of my targets to look at in the next week or so, is busing and tuition, to make sure the encumbrances are accurate.
Okay.
Because we should be able to target, what's left. The only one that's up and down is the homeless,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
because they move in and out, and so we get new contractors sometimes, but that's not a lot of money. So,
Yeah.
the big money is in the sped transportation and the regular transportation. So,
And athletics.
and athletics, yeah, I have seen a lot of POs coming through for the rest of the sports, transportation for the field trips.
Yeah,
So,
especially with baseball,
Yeah.
tennis, what?
Yeah, I was going to ask
golf.
about that. So the transportation for sports and the stipends for sports for spring, that is not included in here, correct?
no, they were just starting to put those in, so I've been seeing them this week.
All right, so we're going to see, that 143 number is going to get smaller as those come in.
Yeah, that's why I want to get the non-lapsing transfer over, so that, we can do the budget transfers that we need to do besides the true-up one that I have tonight. I want to make sure that there's no more negatives in the transportation and the areas that I noted that still need to transfer.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And you can see all the details too, behind here too, so
Yeah.
you can see them more clearly
You know,
on every account.
On this, can I ask?
yeah.
On this sheet here, right? It says 1119 unclassified. Now, the negative means,
That's a lot of substitutes. A lot of that is substitutes. That's why I want to start getting these true-up transfers for salaries. I have one tonight that's going to put money into that line for the substitutes. So, yeah, I think we just have to shift money from, like, if there's an open position and we have substitutes in there, shift the money into the substitutes from other areas. As you can see, we still have a small available balance in total on the first page of 18,000 in salaries. So we're not negative overall in salaries, but yeah, that 1119 is mostly substitutes.
and what about the mathematics? 1108, that's a negative too.
That would be salaries. That would be salaries, because I'm not sure if they hired new math teachers that came in higher than what was budgeted. That's what I would have to ask Lori, but
I do recall that sometimes the chemistry, science, and the math, you do have to
They're
get
the
that
hard to-
level of expertise, especially for some AP classes and things that were taught by other experienced teachers who've left.
so that's what I would pretty much
Yeah. I know there was like, I think during budget season, it was mentioned
That we were over budget.
No, that they were retiring, that several math teachers retired.
Yeah.
So, not this budget season, but the ones prior.
But I think it's over budget this
Yes.
budget season. Yeah,
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
And the nurses,
That's in function 2130.
I'm looking at page 3, account 153. Right on the top of page 3.
Right.
Oh, ours.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
here. Yep.
Yeah, I haven't done a budget transfer for the hourlies or the, I only did a salary one because that was quick. So I do want to look at the encumbrances of the hourlies before I do a transfer to make sure the amount of days is in there that is accurate. But the nurses are over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're staying longer? They get paid by the hour?
Some of them are salary, some of them are hourly. I would have to see which one is over.
And we probably have to check the
'Cause
encumbrances,
RNs are
too, to see
salary.
Because they only get paid through,
Yeah, that's why
days
I
that
put
they
review
work.
encumbrances. I have to review those encumbrances.
or do they get paid over the summer?
No, they do not.
Okay.
Not the hourlies,
Okay.
yeah.
Bev, I think they might be over in general, because if you look at the original budget and the current budget, but I think when they transferred over, we were estimating $1 million.
$1.3 million, I think, with benefits.
Yeah,
And we only put 780,000
Yeah.
in the budget.
yeah, so that might be,
Did we put more in the budget for them this year? I don't have my budget.
Well, I think it was closer to $1 million.
I think
In
it
this
was-
year's budget?
Because we took out, because, you know, remember, this line doesn't include benefits.
Right.
Right, okay.
I think it
Yeah.
was like
A
$1 million or
million.
1.1 or something in that range of what the actual cost was the first year.
yeah.
So hopefully we budgeted $1 million in this year's budget. Hopefully.
But like, my notes do say that I have to review those encumbrances because they do seem a little high this time of year. So I want to make sure that the number of days is accurate because this is really the first year we're using e-finance for hourly employees. So, yeah,
Which means that we have a better handle on it, too.
Yeah.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, I'm constantly looking at them,
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that May's report will shift a little bit.
Looks like Jay has his hand up.
Oh, Jay. Jay,
Yes, good evening.
good
Yep.
evening.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you, Rita. I know this is a lot of work, and if anybody should happen to tune in that is not familiar with what's going on, obviously you inherited a situation where I think you'll agree that there's an extraordinary number of transfers this year because of the consolidation of different accounts and everything, and this will all sort of settle down as all of those projects are completed. As I'm looking at attachment 3, the reference to true up transfer number 1, I assume that's what's being itemized in attachment 4, starting on page 9.
Correct, that's correct, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I think,
For anybody that's trying to follow along.
yeah, I do think you're right that we're going to have an extraordinary amount this year of budget transfers, and I do think that they will decrease next year, definitely.
Right, yeah. I mean, because you were trying to, you had a lot of moving parts this year. To try to take, it was a fool's errand, I think, to try to allocate FICA and Medicare and everything, per department.
Right.
You know what I mean? By putting it all district-wide, it just makes so much more sense.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it never balanced.
Right, it's never going to, and I think it's an e-finance thing, that it just automatically goes to that function, but you can just, do it as the majors, as I do on that front page, to make sure it's not over in that major item. They will still continue to be charged per the department, but the budget is going to reside in the centralized budget. And no budget transfers are going to be done between FICA and Medicare. That would be crazy.
Yeah. So I think this is, I know it's been a lot of work for you and your department to kind of, turn this around from what it's been for many years. And I'm sure that people's eyes start to cross when they see all these transfers.
Right.
But there is a reason for it, and I appreciate everything you folks have been doing to get it more organized. And I am following all of these transfers that you're proposing. There are a couple of things. So, for example, I'm just grabbing this one. Account 128 is calling for needing a budget transfer in the amount of $73,878. So for these that still need transfers, are you developing some ideas of where they're going to come from?
Yes, that's why I have to go through all the hourlies now, the encumbrances first,
Okay.
to then determine if they're accurate, and then I do believe that we can shift the budgets around in the hourly. And 128, I believe, is an hourly account.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
It is. Okay, so that's kind of what you're, in this pass-through, that's kind of what you're focusing on.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the next budget transfer, number 2, is going to be hourlies, and it'll true up some of those.
Okay.
Okay? This is just the salary, like teachers, administrators. This first one is just for salary. Salaried employees.
All right.
That makes sense?
Right. Yes, yep. Now I see where you're going. I think Bev kind of alluded to this in one of her questions earlier, but are we fairly confident that we had a good handle on what the numbers were for this year to create the budget that is currently going through
The number,
review at the town?
the number we created for FY '27, yeah, it was definitely,
Yes.
it's based on their actual salaries that they're going to make next year, and hours. Of course, it's not perfect, but I think it has a good backbone of how I pulled the information, and we created a position number for every single position in the district. So I think we have a better handle on it.
And I'd like to add, Jay,
So,
I can.
yeah.
In the board note, I did put, because I know that when it went through the town council, there were some suggestions about looking at open positions, but really, those open positions, one included a principal, and we need a principal at the elementary, and a couple were teachers that had children in the classroom, like 21 kids per class in elementary, and 20 to 24 in the upper grades. But many of those positions were para-educators that by law we do have to hire. And I think I expressed this too to the town council. And if we aren't able to get as many paras as we need, we have to put someone else in there. And that might be a substitute or somebody, on any given day when there's absences and when there's a missing position. So that wasn't like a $500,000 extra dollars. That was really open position salaries that we posted and we're going to be hiring, so we need to hire. So I want to make sure that I get that point across to everyone so that they might reconsider that.
Yeah. So Rita,
Yeah, it sounded like there were open positions for years and years at the same job title. There's just always going to be open positions.
Well, especially with the para-educators, but we've done much better than we've done in years since COVID. So we're up to the 200 and some number, and I think we have some positions in IDEA as well.
And in my experience, there's always going to be some positions that are hard to fill and they're going to be open. But I do feel I took into account attrition, and when we did budget for vacancies, we budgeted on the lower side. So I feel like we did take into account those months that we may not,
Yeah.
have a person in the spot. As you can see, the subs line is over a lot. So that would be my only concern is substitute.
Yeah.
Is that line, making sure we have enough money to transfer into that line.
Yeah, no, because I was going to ask for, like, to follow up on that, maybe what we could do in response to that or in preparation for the RTM meeting, right, is we can estimate the amount of redundancy that you built in. So, like, if you can calculate, like, how much you took down, like, the salaries by, just an estimate, right? Or how many, like, you assume 3 months to fill a role, and we could say, like, so really a position's only in there for 9 months rather than 12 or 6. So if we can calculate that and tell them, like, we have a built-in redundancy of 4% already, and it's equivalent to X. I think that would help with that 500,000.
And that is the reality, Jen.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah,
what
so I
takes
think
that
they
kind of
just
time.
don't, sometimes, like, what they experienced the past 2 years, so now, like, with our goal of transparency, now we can share this, and, with Rita and her team, we can share this type of data, and hopefully in time build that confidence that they're not like, oh, you guys don't know about redundancy. It's like, Rita does.
Yeah, we do.
So, Jay, did you have more questions? I'm sorry. I sort of just jumped in there.
Oh, no, that's fine, that's fine. The only thing I was gonna say is, obviously, they also were looking at contingency very carefully. I think this year especially, we have no idea where utility and gas and oil prices are gonna
Yeah,
go.
I
Right.
agree.
And so I think we just need to let them know, if there's not going to be any contingency, we may be back here
Right, right.
Yeah.
asking for more. And it's better to budget it now,
Yep.
than to come back mid-year after the mill rate's set. And, then where's it going to come from? I mean, I think everybody knows that those numbers are way up in the air. But anyway,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
You and your staff.
Yeah. I think, like, in the meeting, Jay, like, Counselor Good acknowledged that, and that's why he voted for the full amount. So, because he had mentioned about prices of unstable for utilities and stuff, so. Rita, did you have anything else that you wanted to share?
Are there any other questions on attachment 1?
I just have a question about the teacher salaries and how, because we pay teachers through the summer, correct?
They're paid through the summer for the prior year.
Oh, right, so they're, yeah, that's what I was wondering,
pain.
the physical year.
I'm just
Physical
saying.
year, I always say that wrong, starts in July.
Right, but it's for prior year.
All right, so their contract gets broken up into 10 and 2 months.
It gets broken up into 26 payments, and they're paid from September 1st to August 31st.
All right. All right.
It's hard accounting-wise, because we do have to do a large accrual, but I have ideas this year of how to do it more smoothly than last year. So, because I don't want to wait till August when they're getting their last paycheck to close the books, right? It's too late, because my report is due to the state September 1st. So, yeah, so we're going to put those accruals on the books on June 30th, because we know what they're going to make. I mean, they've already completed their contract. They've already worked the last day of school, so, yeah. So we're just basically holding the cash for them,
Right.
Yeah. All right. And then I was just going to also say that I looked at all of those open positions, and all of the higher salary positions were like teacher and then the principal salaries. were all scheduled to start, I think it was in August.
Right.
So they're not actually open positions
Right now.
There was like a building sub, I think, or two in there that might be open now, but then all the paraprofessionals, we're paying for subs when we don't have the paras, which is, we're probably gonna have to move money from the para line into the sub line.
Right.
And
And that
That's what-
happens too.
That's what I
Happens
think too.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you.
I think we're all set, Rita, if you
So
want to move
do you want me
forward.
to put up the budget transfers?
Rita,
Or-
on
or
page
do you-
4,
Yeah,
on one of your lines, I think you have too many zeros. On line 555, copies. You see that?
What page is it?
Page 4.
too many zeros on the year-to-date percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a formula, and it's hard to put how over budget it is because there's no budget. I really want to get that budget transfer hopefully in next month. Yeah,
It makes it look odd.
yeah, it does. And it
I don't
makes
know.
me
Just
push it
us
down.
that sees this or other people?
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, that's
Are you going to talk about the grants, that was in their packet?
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah.
what I'm used to is year-to-date financials, including grants. So I did run the grants for you. This is the first kind of draft. You have, let me put it up on the screen, just so everybody can see. The first one, that starts with Title I, those are the EGMS grants, so those are the grants that are from the State Department of Ed. And I don't know if you have any questions, but it's a lot of information
Yeah.
at once.
So I have a question on this. These are the grants that everyone, pretty much like all districts get, right?
Title I, definitely,
Because
yeah.
with the grants, and maybe as a committee, we can discuss this, but I'm in agreement with Shannon that our grants are like a competitive advantage that, yes, in a way, I don't want to put all of the details regarding the grants, and maybe I'm off because we have to report it anyway, so it's public knowledge anyway, but I'm not really sure, so that's something, I'm okay with the title, the title grants because everyone gets that, and if they
Right.
know, then fine, but some of our competitive grants, I'm more inclined to, yes, we could report, yep, we got this grant, but not necessarily show all the detail, and that's just me, because there's something about oversharing sometimes, and Adrian, Jay, Bev, chime in, actually anyone in this room, chime in, that's a bias I have.
I think that you should ask Shannon this, but I think that she was talking about that in the grant application process, not necessarily in the grant expenditure side.
Okay.
Once we-
Right, I think so too, and I'm used to giving monthly reports on grants. They just weren't created in any, organized fashion. And
Yeah.
so that's why it did take me some time, and it also takes time to get the budgets in because they're not approving them as early as they used to. Some of them we didn't get approvals for until January or February, so I can't run a report with all negatives. I don't put that budget in until I get that award letter. So, going into next year, it's going to be slow at first because new grants are coming in and they don't come in on July 1st, but they go back to July 1st, So what I do want to try to get into these reports is an end date, so then the first one doesn't end till next year. I'm going to put an end date in there somehow.
That'd be good.
So then you know when it ends. So then you don't say, oh my gosh, we got so much money to spend, but we have another year to do it, right?
Yes.
So that's my goal for the next reports, is to get some end dates, especially for the DODIAs, which is one of the handouts, the DODIA and Treehouse. So those are the two handouts of grant reports that you have.
And I think it does
In
tell
the
a
packet.
story, though, the financials, that most of our grants are very heavy in professional development and, travel and training. And also, when it says administrative, you need an evaluator, you need a project director for the DODIAs, so that's the type of administrator that typically we have. And then I think, there may be a teacher, there are some tutors in here. On that first page, you see for IB, DODIA. And so it does kind of paint a picture of the kinds of things that we're looking for. And they usually are to get something boosted up or boosted back, in gear, without paying operation funds for it.
Right.
I mean, this is really good. I think this is one of the items that have been sitting on our...
It's on your to-do list.
On our to-do list
Yeah.
referral, so thank
It's
you.
also, I believe, in the next, the policy that we're going to pass next board meeting. It's in the budget transfer policy that you should see all funds. So, that's why I was trying to create these reports and get them to you as soon as I could. And I believe there's still possibly one grant that might not be in here, Title III, is not in there yet because I don't think the budget was in, but it will be in your next month.
Are the DODIA grants in here?
Yeah.
So that's the
what I
other
just went
handout.
over.
There's two handouts.
26, DODIA and
Yeah,
transportation.
it's just right on the
The
top,
whole
there'll be
packet.
a transportation.
And I just went over the first page with you, Adrian, it's on IB.
Oh, it's the next sheet, all right.
Yep.
And then the following one is Val's Career Pathways, which really got us started.
Which one are you on there?
This is on this page 2 of the FY26 DODIA and
Okay.
Transportation.
Page
And
2.
that's wrapping up by May, mid-May?
Oh, it's,
Val's, that it has to all
yeah,
be
it's by
done.
May.
And
We have
she's
to wrap
got
it
an
up.
available balance of 68.9, and there are definitely things that she's looking at for the machine shop and some of the supplies we've needed, that she'll be able to, she doesn't like to leave a dime. She likes to get the last marker in at Val Nelson
Does it say-
with that money. So she makes
How
sure.
much does she have left?
68,000.
68.9 right here.
Oh, you're on a DODIA now?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were still on this page. That tell me when you switch.
So I was on DODIA all along because I shared the IB because I think they're really interesting. The first page was the IB one, and then the next page.
You on this one? What
This
one were
one.
you on?
We were on the Title ones first, but this
Yeah.
is the second handout.
I'm ahead of you.
And this is DODIA and Treehouse. Does it say
No, it
transportation?
says
It's
transportation.
supposed to say Treehouse.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Treehouse.
That last one is Treehouse, not
Oh.
transportation.
Sam's like, oh, I have a grant.
Do you have a report, Sam? You want to share?
Let me get all this straightened out.
Where is Treehouse?
It should be the last page, or no, the fifth page.
I like your idea of having the end date, right? 'Cause
Oh, I know why it
working-
says transportation, because it has the DOD, the Children's with Disability is the last page, and that we put into special ed transportation. So the last page is the 123,000 that we got for the Children's with Disability. So on page 5, you'll see the Treehouse account, the fund balance, whatever you want to call it. That's their budget. It's their projected budget and what they project to, of course, everything's not encumbered, but a lot of it is.
Oh, the supplemental impact data is on
Yeah,
page 7.
that's page 7. That's probably why it said transportation, because we put it to special ed
Oh.
transportation.
What is MCASP for DODIA?
That's the MES capital, that's Ben's grant. I'm not sure what it stands for. I thought it had to do with math and
Oh, so science?
science. Yes.
All right,
Which page is that one?
Page 4.
page 4.
That's the acronym for the WDO grant that we apply for every year.
I think Shannon's on
Do you
that.
remember what the acronym stands for? Because I know there's the world language one versus this.
Yeah, Military Connected Academic Support Program.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
And this is largely used for math and science?
We've used it in the 9 that we've received. We've just used it for technology, literacy, math, science, STEM, career pathways. So, definitely.
Oh, I just see the other ones have names like Pathways, World
Yeah,
Language.
Right.
Yeah.
This one just says, so this is
Military Connected Academic Support Program.
oh, so this one isn't one of the, is it Impact Aid? I'm getting all confused.
No, it's 30.
No, the impact date is the last page.
All right.
Oh, and the supplemental impact date is the last page. I'm sorry, 6 and 7 are the impact date. Pages 6 and 7.
So how about page 5? What one is that for?
Treehouse.
5 is treehouse. I'm not sure what KSACC means. I'm trying to figure that out still. It's not there, but it's treehouse.
He's just delighted that he's getting, that we're all together now and that he's getting these reports on a regular basis because he was keeping his own spreadsheets.
Yeah, it's
and
really-
this is much better.
DOD, CWD.
So DOD, Children's with Disabilities.
All right.
Okay. That's on page 6.
Most of the DODIAs come in, impact aid goes right to the town as revenue, but the children with disabilities or severe disabilities comes directly to the board's operating budget and needs to go into some form of special education.
Yeah, so this is the special, that's not the special ed excess cost, though, right?
No, it's
This is
not.
separate, yeah.
It's, no, it's impact aid.
Thank you. This is like what we've been missing.
And
I
then
know it's a lot of
when John
information.
met with us, we shared that we would be giving him these on a monthly basis.
Can I just ask, if we go to the impact aid, what is total purchase property service? What, I thought it essentially all went to went to equipment, but what's in that?
That's for the laptop rentals?
Oh, for the teacher rentals?
Yes, teacher rentals.
All right.
And then we have the non-lapsing fund.
Perfect.
Do you have other
Thank you.
questions on those?
It'd be
I
great.
know it's a lot.
Yeah, no, this is good to get, like, every,
Every month I typically give it with the general fund financials. I'll have the grant ones too, to show you, just so you know the balances and.
Thank you.
yeah, thanks. So I know, Rita, you had mentioned that the audit was done, but...
Yes, I just received like a draft this morning, I'm still looking over, but it is, they're not asking for any more information from me. They're
Okay.
wrapping it up as far as it goes to the partners or whatever to get finalized.
Oh, good. So we submitted what we were missing last time? Perfect.
Right.
Is there anything else that you want to share with us, or are you all set? with,
Well, I
like,
gave you the budget for the
reporting?
non-lapsing, but that was already approved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I just gave you what's in the system, and I think that's, the budget transfers. Did you have any questions on that, the budget transfers?
I didn't. Adrian, Jay, Beth,
I think we kind of covered some of them already.
yeah. Okay. So thank you, Rita.
All right.
Did you
I
want
just
to?
had one quick question.
Oh, okay.
Rita, is there a draft on the audit that includes any recommendations?
I just received it this morning, so I haven't had a chance to go through, everything.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get that to you soon, once I read it and get back to them, because I know they want us to review it and submit, anything that we want, that we have questions on.
I know the state has extended the deadline by which it had to be, the final had to be filed, but I would think that that's coming up soon.
Well, the state part of it was filed by January 31st. The audit was extended to April 30th, and it will be done according to the auditors, because they sent the draft. But the state part of it is done. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Perfect.
Can I just go back
Sorry.
to the, if we can just go back for a second to the budget transfers. When, do we know when these, the DODIAs expire? Like the IB, is that when it expires at this point, after this year?
No, that's what I'm going to do next time. I'm going to put the end dates. It's not this year that it expires. So in the next report, I'm going to try to have it in the title of when the end dates are. And the only one that's ending this year is the pathways. That's the only one that's ending.
World languages next year. So
But
pathways.
I think IB has a couple of years, right? At least 2 years.
That's our most recent one.
Yes, it is. It's the most recent one.
4 years.
So pathways ends in 26.
In May.
May 26th.
Yeah, so pathways is the one we're working on closing out.
All right.
But I will, for the next report, put those end dates in there, because I think that's important.
So when Pathway closes out, is there a new grant we can apply for Pathways? Or is that-
We
not
have
sure
a
about that.
math grant that was written, and we tried twice. We submitted it once, and we got some feedback, but they never gave any grants out. So we kind of kept that with the feedback, thinking, oh, this is good for the next time, but the next time never came. So it's kind of been on hold with Department of Ed and Impact Aid, or DODIA, during this time. So there is a potential for a DOD construction grant that Shannon is looking into. Shannon, did you want to mention anything about the grants?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned last time that unfortunately the MCAS grant that we, have been successful with for many years, once again, they are not running that program this year. We're not entirely sure why, but it's on hold again. But they did say that there will be a new grant program starting up soon. I don't know if it's just a one-year deal or if it'll be ongoing, but it will be for construction for school buildings that have at least a 15% military student population. And at this point, they've been kind of vague about what the dollar amounts will be. They said anywhere from 5 to 25 million. I would imagine they'll be in pretty high demand from all the military communities across the country. But it's it could be something to
Charles,
look forward to.
yes, Charles
Well, and
Barnum.
Charles Barnum is one of our stories, and even Mary Morrison,
Yes.
for completing some of the work. So she's keeping an eye on that, right, Shannon?
Oh yeah. I just looked into it today.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, Charles Barnum.
So is that the one we were speaking about a little while ago, like a month or two ago?
Charles Barnum.
No, that construction grant.
No, I think you're talking about the DRIP grant that we talked about, the DRIP.
The DRIP was one of those kind of automatic ones, so that we got $200,000
Yeah.
for that, for maintenance and construction.
Yeah.
So
This one that Shannon's talking about, something new.
more competitive, yeah.
Okay, Rita,
So,
you're all set.
You're all
You want to
set.
hit the road, it's all right with me.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Yeah,
Susan.
sunny still.
Yes,
We can get home before it's dark.
yes.
I love this time of year.
Yeah, it's staying right out
Thank
longer.
you.
No problem.
Sam, you're up. It looks like the first item is the maintenance contract.
Yeah, the lawn maintenance contract. So we had a contract with Mystic Landscape Services for the last 3 years. And in the bid package, it gave us the right to extend the contract for an additional 3 years on an annual basis. So that's what we're looking to do, is to extend this contract if they perform satisfactorily, and I attest that they do an excellent job for us. So the new extension would be from April 15th of this year to November 30th, which is just after Thanksgiving, so they help us with getting the field ready, or around the field at the high school to leave some stuff there. So that's the extent of it. This extension comes with a 2.5% increase based on the consumer price index for the period of time from the end of the last contract. And so the original contract last year was $177,541, if my memory serves me correctly. And the new number is $182,000. Oh, I got to get to that page.
Sam, is there anything different in the new contract that was in the old contract?
No, everything, it refers back to the old contract.
You have
So
both.
it's exactly, yeah, I got both of them. Is it exactly the same?
Yes,
The con-
yes.
We didn't ask for anything new.
No,
We didn't need anything new from
we
them.
did not. I'm sorry, the new number is $182,286 per year, which breaks down, we pay him out in 8 months, during the 8 months of the contract, and the payment is $22,785.75 per month. There's also options for us if additional work is needed that we find that we would like their help with. And so he's provided us with the hourly rates for mowing or trimming if it's somewhere that it isn't done on campus, or if we had to call them in more times in a month than would be normal. I don't think we've had that problem in the 12 years I've been here with them. So usually in the summertime, they actually, when the grass burns, they slow down a little bit. So the additional numbers would be $200 an hour for mowing or trimming if it were needed somewhere, and the hourly rate for a leaf pickup, which they've helped us with before, is $100 for the truck and $100 per hour for the laborer.
Sam, the schedule that's attached, that's the new rates, right, up in the top.
The
like
one that's
this.
revised 4/2/2026? Yes.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yep,
Missed that part.
yep.
Do we, as far as bidding, do we have to go out for competitive bid for this?
We did go out to bid, and in that bid package, we offered the opportunity to all that bid, our option to continue with them for an additional 3 years provided. So the contract could last up to 6 years if they perform well in the first 3 years.
All right. So you're saying that we're getting really good service and the fee isn't going up very much?
That's correct.
And it will only be till November of 2026? Or is it November of 2027.
No, it'd be this 1 year to the November 2026, and then we
Okay.
can extend it again next year,
Yeah.
and we could extend it again the third year. After that, it definitely has to go out to bid. If for some reason something happened to the contractor, or he weren't, or they weren't performing their duties as we expect them, then we would not offer them the extension, we would go out to bid again. We generally try to get that out sometime in January, late January, early February, if it needs to be done.
Sam, in the old contract, I see you have listed about insurance requirements. In the new contract, I don't see that specifically, or I'm missing it. It talks about insurance,
I
but
thought the new one referred back to the original contract.
Insurance and bonded contractor shall maintain all insurance coverage, number 5. Insurance coverage and bonding requirements as specified in the original contract.
so you're referring back to the old contract.
Yes, they have to do the same thing, provide us with
You don't think it
insurance
should be
certificate.
spelled out in this new contract?
We sent it
Like
to
you spell
Floyd.
it out in the old contract?
It is, what's that?
You don't think you should spell it out in the new contract like it is in the old contract?
No, it refers right back to that.
We actually sent it to Floyd to ask that question, Beverly,
Yeah.
to make sure legally that it could be done, and he did say it was fine, the way it read, so we did get his opinion on that.
Yeah, on the
I
bottom,
think,
on the bottom of page 2 of the new contract, it says extension period. The original contract is hereby extended for an additional contract year. So
yeah,
I assume that was your...
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, if people just get this contract, it's not spelled out in this contract. So people have to go back to the old contract to see what's what, instead of just spelling it all out in the new contract too, you know? Because I have to shift between two of these now to say, okay, this is what it is, okay, this is insurance, but let me shift to this contract and see what it says, you know, instead of just spelling it all out in the new contract too. Instead of referring to the old contract.
yeah, but
But
I
that's
think-
just me.
yeah, and I think the difference is, it's not really a new contract, it's extending the current contract.
This is just the extension.
It's an
changes.
extension.
Okay, so every year,
For the next 3 years,
so
if we
every
could,
3 years, we're just extending their contract.
No.
No,
after
they
this
had a
year.
contract for 3 years, they finished it
Yeah,
3 years.
now we're extending
Now we
it.
can extend it for
1
3
year at
more
a time.
years.
Okay,
And the way I read it,
3
it's,
more years.
yes, we can extend it for 3 more years before going out to bid. But per 1 year at a time to do
Okay.
that. That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
It could have been written, extend it for 3 years, but
Okay.
it's actually written for,
yeah, you have,
So this
For an
contract
additional
only
3
goes
years.
Till November 30th, this extension is only.
this one is till this November, yes.
Okay, and then we have to do it again.
Decide.
That's correct.
do you have concerns?
Oh, I'm good.
You're good? Jay,
I'm good, thank you.
Adrian,
Yeah, good.
we're good. So what are the next steps? Do you need to bring this for a full vote on the board, or is it?
No, I think you just sign it.
You just
Yeah.
sign
Yeah,
it?
We
Okay.
just thought that we bring it to finance facilities so you can see it.
Yeah.
And I double checked with Floyd just to make sure.
The attorney saw
Yeah.
it and Susan will
Yeah.
sign it.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I had some of the same concerns going back and forth, Bev, so I said to Floyd, does this work? Like, is this?
Yeah.
He said,
that
yeah,
kinda
this,
confusing.
I can staple them all together for you. Then you would have to,
we'll staple them all.
wherever
As long as
it's
you know
at.
this contract is saying, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
You know what they're supposed to be doing.
I hope so, by now.
I can't attest to the people who do it, but like our grounds always look nice. I've never like come to a school where it, looks terrible. So,
They stay on top of theirs, and our custodians go out and police the grounds,
Yeah.
on a daily basis too, so it's a combination of both. Thank you.
okay. Next is solar panels.
Yeah, so I hope you're aware that the Green Bank will be here on the 11th of May, right? 11th of May to give you their presentation on it. I know that I got an email yesterday, or I haven't even responded to her yet, from the Green Bank. She had a layout of where these would go, and she just wants to confirm with us that it's not going to impede, because these are going to be essentially like carports, right? That it's not going to impede any kind of traffic or anything that we have. I know that it calls for them to be at least 12-foot height, so I think the South Road overpass is only like 11.4, so most trucks can go through there. And a couple of them- we have one that can't go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a big sign taped right to the dashboard in that truck, don't go down South Road.
It floods there anyway.
I hope the guys we hire
they
read the
read.
sign.
So,
So more to come.
more to come.
We'll have to attach whatever she's shown into the agenda,
Yeah.
so they can see it.
Yeah, because by the time we meet next time, she still wouldn't, like, we're going to have our May meeting before she even comes still. So, okay.
Yeah, well, I'll see if she can give us something ahead of time for that May meeting then.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I know Shannon's on too for Mary Morrison. But Sam, we did have a nice conversation with Petrocelli's group, David from the group. And they've been helping us with both the roof project and the Mary Morrison. And really happy that they've got someone coming out this week. So turnaround time was good. Shannon said she could sleep at night now, knowing he's coming. Right, Shannon?
Well,
Yep.
that's one of the benefits of having a 3-year contract with an architect to move projects along a little quicker. They're already contracted with us, we don't have to go out to bid, it saves a little bit of time there.
Yeah. So was the fire marshal able to come?
He's been out there.
Oh, yeah. And what did he say about the doors? That's the one that I, focus in on, the egress, potentially adding extra doors.
I don't think we've got a final answer, however, we're now looking at the classrooms that don't have the second egress out of the building in the room. We're looking at now egress windows to go in there. So, as a matter of fact, I've got them coming out. Yeah, well, you already said they're coming out this week, hopefully, next week at the latest. And we'll go through those rooms and make sure that we're all set with that.
Oh, that's good news, because instead of having, the 6 classrooms, we could potentially have the
10.
goal of the 10.
Yeah.
So that's good news, assuming, everything works
Well-
out. No.
The windows and/or the doors are still pretty expensive to put in.
Is it within our operational budget
It's
grant that we
it's within the
received?
budget, as far as I know. Oh, until I get the number.
Yeah.
Until you yes. So keep us, keep us
Yeah,
posted
so
on that.
darn contractors,
Yeah, right.
All I know is that when you walk into each of those rooms, they have the regular pull-out little windows, but they have this one gigantic window in every single classroom. And that's where the fire chief was kind of looking, like that might be the good space where you could take out that one big window and then fit it to have this escape window.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's easier than removing bricks on a very solid building.
Right, and it's not only brick, but we have all the heating system is on that wall, so you don't want to.
Radiators are like this room, they go all the way across the room, in
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
one of those rooms. So you'd have to take the heat out, cut it out, run your pipes
Route
under
it.
the slab, back under.
But this guy has experience with this. A lot of schools have had to retrofit older buildings for young children, and they've done this exact same kind of project, so he actually has some ideas of how this can work. So it was a good conversation.
And then, did we get the results of the water? Because I know they're
No, I'm awaiting the results right now. Groton
Okay.
Utilities came and did their sampling,
perfect.
and they sent it out to a lab to get the results.
And the radon? I know you had mentioned you were doing that.
The
too.
radon testing was done, all the samples were negative.
Oh, good. That's good
within,
news.
essentially within range.
Within
They
range,
weren't,
yeah.
some of the rooms were 0, but some might have been above 0 point something, but they were all well below
The threshold.
The threshold.
threshold, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect.
You've checked off a few things on your list. You've checked off a few things on your list.
I'm getting it.
Yeah.
You're getting there, yeah, no. I know there was mention about like some playscapes, but that's different. That's not structural. That's like, to me, it's not critical getting the building
I think-
ready for
I
these
think
children.
I think our playground inspector, who comes through our insurance company, is coming, I think it was the 22nd, I think Tommy said this
I
morning.
think so too, after
22nd.
vacation.
I didn't write it down, but
Second of April?
of this month, yeah.
But we put in for the budget, right, Shannon, the fence and additional, we've looked at several different playscape companies. And one has, for special needs, sensory playground and for little children. So to put some of those instead of some of the old-fashioned little wobbly things, like to put more updated
Yes,
structures for the kids. So,
perfect. It looks like we're making really good progress. Thanks.
We took the spring-loaded motorcycle out of it because one of the kids was riding it, it actually broke on him.
Oh, God. Because I know the community uses that
They were
too.
there, yeah. Well, and the church uses it too. I see kids after church, they park in that parking lot sometimes, so,
Oh,
as overflow, I think. And the kids will be down there playing on the playground sometimes.
yeah. I know.
What's your plan for the parking lot?
Patch
Patch.
any divots, holes, whatever.
Shannon, did you have anything else to add? I know you've been helping us keep track on that Google Doc. All the progress.
Yeah, yeah, Shannon, did we miss something on our update? Keep us honest here.
So Clint has his IT order finalized, so I think he's begun purchasing for that. Denise and Karen are finalizing their furniture order. So we hope to get those both in really soon in case there's any delays with shipping. We have a couple playground vendors that we're looking at, just waiting on the inspection. And then as far as the other playground materials, we have quotes for all of those, and we just check back with those vendors to make sure the estimates are still being honored, and they are. So we have a quote for the HVAC, the new units, so those can probably be replaced pretty soon. I think we were just trying to decide if we should add on 2 more to that order. Yeah.
And we're still
That's all I
within
have
budget?
done. Yeah.
We have,
At this time,
we have a contingency fund in that one.
Oh,
I thought
perfect.
that's where Sam's parking lot was gonna come in.
Yeah.
Are you just
So I
patching
did
it?
wanna
Does it have
mention
grass
that-
growing in it? No grass?
Oh,
nothing's been grasped.
Okay.
Shannon, you wanted to mention something?
Well, I wanted to mention that the next round of funding, the application has been posted now. It's due May 1st. And so we'll be submitting that operations grant, the one that we are already, I don't know the right wording, awarded, I guess, that they set aside for us. And then we do have the opportunity to apply for additional funding for the additional classroom, since we are, trying to move over 10 classrooms, but it's really like 9 full elementary classrooms plus the ABA classrooms. So for that extra full classroom, we can submit for an additional, it's basically going to be 3 more grants that we're submitting. So we can submit for an additional operating grant for that one, and then also capital funds for that one also.
Great.
So we're looking at a better, operation, stronger operation fund to support our needs.
Yes, that too. Yes, they raised the per classroom amount back up to 97,000
Per
Yeah,
classroom.
that's
per
good.
classroom.
And if you apply in May, like, when do you expect the results? Or, the award?
Well, I hope pretty soon, because they said for the operation grant that the funds are gonna be available on a quarterly basis. So I'm assuming, the first quarter ends September 30th.
Yeah,
So hopefully that would be sooner, but I did reach out to them to ask for any more information on that. I haven't heard back yet.
great.
So, two other things. We did HVAC testing, and our guys are now working with the testing agent to make some repairs, replacing motors, a couple of things like that. So that's going on. And in addition to that, we had Karen Hyatt and her team go through, because some of those rooms that were used for storage since we closed the building, and the fire marshal is not going to allow that if we open it up. So we need to get rid of some of that stuff. So they've gone through and tagged things that they want to use for the early childhood center. My team will move those over into some of the empty spaces, and then Susan can then deem the other stuff obsolete, and we have the name of a company that will come and get it. So we're working toward that now. Once we get that stuff out of there that's already been tagged.
And other schools' principals have come, and I saw the Sacred Heart principal at the Children First Groton and said that it might be some things once we've gone through. So really, in being a good neighbor, maybe, I'll talk to John Bird about how others might find treasures in our, obsoletes.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I'm okay with the Mary Morrison update. Anything, Jay, Adrian? Bev?
Are we putting a merry-go-round in?
Oh, those are fun.
Is that what you did?
Great. Kids need to learn.
Really good.
Some physics and
Do you
stuff
remember
nowadays.
those?
I used to get dizzy on those games.
Oh, no.
Now,
So-
because we're having the early childhood center, that means we're going to have some empty rooms in some of the schools?
We are going to be able to spread out our ABA classroom because of the number of kids that we have. And so there's going to be some real potential for that. And, that's a real good thing to have that space, additional space there. Thames River isn't going to be as impacted because they will keep the 3-year-olds in their building. It's Mystic River that's really mostly moving over. And maybe another couple of teachers or another teacher from Thames. But when phase 2 comes in, either the next year, depending on the funds,
Yep.
then we'll take the 3 classrooms that have double session and potentially make those 6 classrooms full day for 3s. And that will also lift our littles, right?
Yeah.
In such a positive way. And they're all integrated classrooms, so we will be hiring special education preschool teachers, as others retire, and so that they can all have kind of a natural setting like we do in all of our other classrooms. But it won't be, in the past it's been 50% of, the special ed students and then the other students. But this will be more of a 30-70 split or maybe a 20-80 split, which is more natural. So I'm excited about the whole thing. Yeah,
Hopefully we can get those special ed teachers, because
I know. They're
Yeah.
nice.
it's hard to hire special ed teachers.
It is. You're right.
Perfect, thank you. Thanks for touching the maintenance tracker. Beverly, I know you always have questions on the maintenance tracker. I'm gonna put you on the spot, let you go first.
Well, I do want you to notice that we've started dating them. I think we heard that from the teachers union about, dating, and they've seen this, and AGSA, the principals have been responsible for adding things into the list. So there's a facility custodial needs, anticipated facility needs, those are, I think, their summer wish list. And then there's safety and security, which Clint mostly does. And you can see that a lot has been accomplished. There's still some more things to do, you see, and then they continue to add on to it as
Yeah.
things come up. Did you want to speak to that?
Only to say that I would recommend that at some point, we take the items that are already completed off of the list so that we whittle
I
this thing
agree.
down,
Yeah.
because I live in living color, so
I agree.
the items that have been completed already, which it doesn't necessarily say on that one, I have a green marker on those. Yellow means it's in progress, and the others are still maybe
TBD.
we're waiting for a quote or something on it. But so.
Which one are yellow? Because we don't
Oh, no.
have pink.
Right, no, I didn't. I just colored mine. I just colored this
Here.
afternoon.
No, I know that, but can we get that too?
No,
I would-
you may not have it.
Sorry.
Is she going
Did you
to,
see in the red, though, Beverly, I think Erica's tried to say where we were, so in the red, it says moved to inter-office laboratories.
Yeah, there's a
or
note in there that she
Need
put
to
in.
determine funding source or completed.
Oh, yeah, I see all that.
So that's
she
all
wants
she
the
got.
cheat sheet.
Yeah, I see all that. I can see that. I got the paper.
Oh, Sam, is,
If you want me to, I could go down each school quickly and tell you which ones I got in the green now, which means they're completed. If you'd like me to do that quickly, I can do that fairly quickly.
Yeah, that would be good.
And then if it isn't marked that way on yours, some already say completed, but if we go down Fitch High School, for instance, number 1 is completed.
The gender neutral?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2 is yellow, so that's been estimated to be $20,000 to $30,000, so we have to find the money for that before we can do that. So we've made some repairs, but can't complete until we get enough money for that. Number 3 is
Can I
completed.
just ask real quick, is that
Yep.
included in this grant, or the CIP? There's an intercom CIP that the council approved anyway, right? So no audio for intercom system, is that included?
Are you on 2, or which number are you?
Am I on the wrong page?
I don't know, where are you?
No, I'm on a different sheet.
Yeah,
here.
All right,
there's a lot to keep track of, believe
I'm
me.
on the, yeah.
The safety security one.
We'll get there.
Yeah, all right, keep going, sorry.
Yeah, I only brought this facility custodial needs with me tonight, so I'll have to look up the other one if we're going to discuss the other sheets. But number 3 is completed, the handicap compliance. That's with the field task force. The signage for the no trespassing, we've got a lot of signs up, but we still have a replacement order coming in to finish that up. Number 5 is green, that one's completed. And that's as I said earlier, the custodian, and we actually have a groundskeeper at the high school too, so they both are doing a daily walk around and cleanup of our facilities. Number 6 is completed.
Wait, you didn't, do you mean,
We're not
no light, though?
going to put a light out there. It's too much to trench out there, bring power all the way out there, as opposed to saying to the custodian, the night custodian, go out and bring the flag in tonight, please.
And plus, it saves the flag. If you leave them out, you'll see how tattered they get soon.
They do get tattered pretty quickly.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that to me.
The gate at the field, the coaches have been asked to make sure that they lock up when they leave. We're waiting for a copy of the report on the renovation of the old wing there, the NEASC report, so we should have that in the next day or two. Number 9 is completed because it's with the field task force, at least from our perspective, until they tell us we need to do something else. Again, 10 is with the field task force, which is, and number 10 is actually, this. I think it's pretty close to the same thing as number 3, because they're all related to the football stadium complex. So, number 11 is we have a lift available. It needs to be cleaned up, and we're going to be putting that lift down in the pit in the library. It will take 2 people because it's a hand crank lift. You crank it up, the wheelchair goes on, the other student or aide or whoever happens to be with the student that needs it would just crank it down. And number 11, I'm sorry, that is number 11, and number 12, the traffic flow was looked at by the school administration, and so that's completed as well. Groton Middle School, the exterior doors, those are all set. Buttons weren't working. One of the things we found is the doors are automatic doors too, and there's a panel, a box near the ceiling. Well, junior high age kids, or middle school age kids like to reach up and show how high they can jump and touch things. And so there were 2 switches on there, and we actually saw them on camera one day. And we were trying to figure out why after we set these buttons. So we actually put a little cage around it now, so they can't do that anymore.
You got him. I hadn't heard that story.
Number 6 and 7 are painting. Our paint budget isn't quite high enough for that, but we have another idea, and we're taking a look at possibly using a reinforced fiberglass panel and putting that along. Again, sheetrock walls are not really good in schools, but and kids put their hands on walls or drag their pencil down the wall. All kinds of things happen, and so we're looking at putting some fiberglass panels on there, which can be washed readily. So.
Once the other schools see that Groton Middle School has that, they're going to want it too.
We're going to keep them out of the building. The 3rd floor bathroom, it's a poured floor over concrete, and so it's a very thin, almost rubberized like floor in there. Well,
I saw that when they were doing that.
Water got in it, under it, and it's popped, so we're working with the contractor, and hopefully they'll be able to come in. We're hoping we can get them there next week, but at least to look at it. But again, that'll probably be a summertime thing to
What
finish.
number are you on, Sam? I lost.
That is number 8 at the middle school.
I'm on the wrong page.
The traffic lines were painted previously, that's completed. The leaning light post, we're getting a quote from the contractor on that. That was one of our maintenance people, ran into that with his snowplow.
Wouldn't that be as far part of the auto insurance policy that paid for the truck? Property damage caused by the vehicle?
We didn't submit it that way. I don't know whether we could do that or not, but I'll check into that.
Can I just ask, I'm just being nosy, is it
The
the
light
same?
is working, it's just a matter of having the excavator come in and dig it out on that side, right it, and then compact and fill again around it, so.
Sam, I'm just being nosy. Is it the same person who backed into the basketball hoop
Oh, no.
at
Oh,
Charles
no, more than
Barnum?
one person has done that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, that happens all the time.
okay.
They're rushing to get the schools open in the morning, and those basketball poles or fences sometimes get in the
I know
way.
CB has a new principal, and she's probably had you over to show you all the things she wants to have done. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
you
she
went for
said.
the first day, and then I think you've gone back periodically to, this list, I think, was probably back from when Seth was here. But we definitely want to start updating CB, and if we could get a construction grant for that through DODIA, that'd be great.
Did you talk about number 11 on Groton Middle School?
Those are all, the plumber has finished that. I got a note that it's up to date here in green, so those are our plumber has finished those.
Okay.
Kolnaski, You can see the electrical outlets are completed. Wall in the office,
Yeah, that's for the military person, I think, or liaison person.
yeah, that and the next one, the wall in music room, were given a verbal denial by the fire marshal. So we're going to be working with him as to how we could do that, or if we can do it. But he gave us a verbal denial on it.
Why did he say?
I didn't get a full answer from him on that yet, but we'll work with him on that, on those two items. Poison ivy it's completed, but it's a continuing issue. Poison ivy is pretty hard to, other than cutting it back, it's hard to control unless you spray for it, and we don't like to spray around the school grounds. Roof leaks, that one, again, is continually in progress. Our guys are repairing roofs all the time, leaks, and they call them flat roofs. They're not completely flat roofs. They actually do have a pitch to them, but it's a shallow pitch, and water does accumulate on them, and rubber roofs in the sunlight break down or move, and they'll tear, pull away from the building a little bit. They move a lot, and so it's a continuing battle. The kindergarten gate is repaired. I don't know why clean the upper windows and the foyers on this list, but we've made sure that the custodian is assigned, that Charlie is assigned the custodian to make sure that's done, and continues to be done. An overwhelming smell of oil when we fill the oil tank. We've asked the supplier to let us know when they're coming, and we asked them to see if they could. Unfortunately, the truck may have a couple other stops at other schools, but we asked them to please try and come later in the day when school is not in session.
And usually, if they do it later in the day, Sam, it's not an issue in the morning? There's not that smell in the morning. If they do it in the afternoon, that solves the problem?
It doesn't last that long.
Oh, okay.
Or the kids get released and they're not there, so it can smell all at once.
Storage tanks in the buildings?
What's that?
The storage tank, or is outside?
No, it's in the driveway out down on the lower side and the back
So
side.
it's just venting out of the
I
tank
think
when they're
it's-
filling? and
Yeah, I
it-
think when it's filling, it's just in the air and gets something through the
Yeah.
units.
What about the exhaust vents for the boiler? It's on here too. Boiler exhaust smells through. So I think that was the chimneys for the boiler. Like in the, because I remember hearing teachers complaining about this too, just exhaust smell in the building.
I haven't heard that complaint. I know they extended the vent a while back, but I'll have to double check on that and see
Yeah,
if
these
that.
are almost two separate things, because one has to do
Yeah,
with the
they should be
venting on
separate.
fueling, and then the
Yeah.
other has to do with boiler.
I'll have to. I'll double check on the boiler smell. But we have the same problem at northeast. That when the wind is blowing from a certain direction, that it blows the exhaust toward one of the HVAC units that's bringing in fresh air, and it's fresh air that doesn't smell so hot.
Well, and interesting that
Less than
they're
fresh
the
air.
same design of those two buildings, and they still have the same
Yeah.
issue, right?
Well,
Yeah.
to me, it'd be curious to see before we do, actually, I'm sorry, we're on CK, not Charles Barnum. I was just gonna say before we do the roof, because if it ends up being like a chimney extension thing, right? Because a lot of times that, you just need to get the exhaust above.
They did that, or they extended that pipe already, the exhaust.
But they can still smell it, right?
Yeah. So,
Is there any way to put like a powered exhaust in there or something?
I'll have to look into that, but I have to find out exactly when that's happening, because if it's in Northeast, for instance, we know that it has to do with the direction of the wind, because it doesn't happen all the time. So we'll have to look at this a little more carefully. I don't have a definite answer on why it's doing it, but we'll look into it more. And the faucet in the staff room is repaired already, that's completed. Over to Mystic River, rather. They have the large storage container. And you could put tricycles and stuff in it, right, Susan?
Yeah, they received, I think they had funds that were, or were they donation funds? Like each school has
Somebody-
donation
yeah,
account. They was
yeah.
able to use a donation account to pay for that, so.
So it's there, and the tricycles and those items that were in the hallway, which are not supposed to be in the firehouse, I
Yeah.
didn't like them there, are now in the container.
Now, they haven't asked you to bring the container over to their new spot in Mary Morrison, have they? We went
Lock
around
on the
them.
E by the C space, it's not, we can't lock that playscape. So we don't believe that's feasible, so. But we'll work with the principal on that. Shelving in the gym, the site budget was to purchase that. There is shelving in there. I don't know if he has enough now. There's more than there was before, but again, that's in yellow here, so it means still in progress.
It says something about a site budget to purchase
Yeah.
and
school-
B&G to install.
Yeah, that's us, buildings and grounds. We installed some already.
Oh, okay.
As, I think, once they moved the bicycles out of that storeroom, I think it gave them more room to store things
Oh,
in there
okay,
too,
good.
so I think that was helpful. And then the Northeast Academy, they've labeled their windows. I think the secretary actually printed the numbers, and our custodians and maintenance people put those numbers up for the fire and police for
Do all the
emergency.
schools now have the numbers on the window?
No, I think somebody else is still missing them. I'm trying to.
CK got
I
hers
think-
up.
Did she get them up?
She did.
CK?
Oh, yeah, Chris said she
She
got
did it
hers.
herself,
Yeah.
she told us.
Yeah. Just wanted to note that Jay left the meeting, and he just put it on the chat.
I guess he heard enough from me for tonight. NEA, the second badge reader, was a problem. That's been completed. Bill Montgomery took care of that. And the brush clearing around the fences is completed. However, that's an ongoing problem too, so.
Oh,
Thames River?
Oh, can I just
Yep.
ask for NEA? When Bev and I went, like, a couple years ago now, you know what? The seals that, like, on the window to designate the room numbers, what, has that all been applied to the windows? You know, like, they were supposed to put, like, stickers so that
Oh,
we...
that's what he
Yeah.
was talking
Oh,
about.
is that
Yeah,
what that is?
those are the numbers, yeah.
Oh, those are the numbers?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the emergency people can identify them.
Yes.
And what about, they were also talking about like a light on the outside of the building, so if there's something going on inside the building, there could be a light on the outside of the school
it a blue
building
light?
to
The
let
blue
people
Yeah,
know, don't come close.
Yeah, I haven't done anything about it. Guilty as charged. So,
And weren't they asking for, like, in the CAF and in those kind of areas, too?
yeah, we had them in Gloucester, and one other school I did them in. And then somebody saw them and said, that's a great idea. And we haven't done anything about it, but I'm putting it on my list. It's not just for well, it's nice if you went to go visit the school,
Yeah.
if you saw that blue light, I don't know if everybody would know, it means to stay out, you know,
Yeah.
something's
Yeah.
going on that you shouldn't be in there for.
Yeah.
But we also put them in the cafeteria because the kids are loud in there, and the blue light, if it comes on, the kids will know that, you know,
That's
they
it.
need to be quiet and listen for further instruction. So we put them in the cafeteria auditoriums if they have them. And then Thames River. Yeah, that, I got a note here, the principal decision, that needs to be a decision to be made by the principal, because she likes the furniture to match the furniture that she got when the building opened, and there isn't any more of that furniture unless she purchases it. So we had some stuff that we let her know about, and she needs to let us know whether she wants to take that temporarily or whatever, or for good. The protective film for windows at Thames River, the estimate for that is $3,984. So
Say it again, Sam. 4,000.
no, I'm sorry, I was going to round it up to 4,000, but it's $3,984.
Yeah, you can
And
round
if she
it
can
up.
afford it in her supply budget, right? She
Well,
can get
that's,
it and we can put it in.
that was the question, is the site or the district going to pay for that, so.
Either way, it's the same money.
It is the same one.
Well,
And if they have it left in their account, I think they can.
the Promethean board, Clint said that has been taken care of. And the sink facet in the boys' bathroom on the third floor has been replaced, according to the custodian. I think that's it.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're right, I think we need to start a clean chart.
Yeah. Anything that's complete, we'll just remove
Yeah, if we,
this way.
yeah, if we take them off, and then we can add them as we go.
Yep, exactly. One of those things too, I know the security list was here, provided if we can just review it on our own and not have Sam go through it.
Most
Just-
of it is Clint, too. You can also
Okay.
ask Clint if you have any questions about it. But it
Yeah,
looks like
but
he's-
I would prefer not to do that on
Yeah.
Zoom because it's security related.
Yeah.
I still have this one.
Oh, sorry, I missed, oh yeah, the facilities anticipated needs. Is this like, Sam, is this
I
a
didn't
summer
print that.
project? Oh, you didn't put this
I
one?
didn't print that one, I don't know why I
This
didn't.
is
Oh,
an Erica,
here.
this is when we ask them, are there anything, is there anything else like for summer work or additional needs that you're having? A lot of people said paint. So you get rid of one list and look at this, Sam. You get another.
But like you said, most of it is paint.
Paint,
Yeah, and I understood that, like, when they came to present, multiple principals had mentioned that if we paint, you know, like a piece of each of the school, then it's just continual, so that it's not like one big, hey, we need to paint this entire school at the end of the day or after 5 years, so, and they were saying it was bringing up morale, you know, like if it feels good, feels clean, the students come in, you know, it's more of a,
Yeah, we're asking
Yeah.
for a little more cooperation regarding taping things to sheetrock walls. Because they've been taping, some people have taped artwork and things on the walls, posters, et cetera. And then when they take them down, the sheetrock paper comes with it.
comes with it, yep,
Which means, you know,
yeah.
degraded that sheetrock for one thing.
Yeah.
But, so we have to compound it, et cetera, and seal it again,
No,
and then paint.
yeah, so,
So,
thank you.
yeah, we're working to try and get a little more money into that, into the painting.
Yeah, the sheetrock walls for the halls And the newer buildings are really hard to keep up with, and they get really dingy looking. These old buildings, as the fire chief would say, these guys were bones. Like,
Yeah.
you paint this, like this was painted by the art teachers probably in 2014, 15 as their project, and it still looks good. Well, they did this wall. Sam did all the other walls, his team. You remember that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
It was the art team, teachers.
who, the art teacher.
Art teachers.
Which school? Oh, I think they came together, didn't they?
They all
Two or three
came,
of
they
them
all,
came together?
yeah. They all did.
Yes, yeah. No, we're not that creative when we, our guys get stuff all over the place, but it doesn't look like that.
Just try to keep it off the floor and the ceiling,
Yeah.
otherwise get it on the wall.
Hey, it's not, no, I'm going to get myself in trouble. So
So
now,
Sam, the gym floor, what do you plan to, 61,000?
Well, that's, Mark Romano has asked to have that entire floor essentially scraped or sanded to bare wood, and then have it all repainted, all the lines and everything repainted. And that's why he's got a number there of $61,000 there.
That's almost a
To do.
CIP.
I know, I was
It's
going
a-
to say, that's
it's a
like
pretty big number.
Yeah.
CIP.
So it's
That's
not
the
my budget.
Big gym, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And John Burt was talking to Bev and I about possibly looking at the vintage wing on what are the areas that need the most attention, whether it's HVAC or, repairs or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And kind of tackling in one CIP project at a
Yeah,
time.
we probably need to add the door where Sam had mentioned, like near the cafeteria entrance where critters can come through.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that that gets added if you guys are having that discussion. If there's any other questions, Deb, regarding the tracker, Adrian?
This is a long list here. What about the windows? How are you going to go about replacing windows?
Are you talking to the vintage area of Fitch High School? We're hoping to put that in for a CIP project next year. It's going to be big dollars. Because again, those, you know where the courtyard is outside the library? If you look out the art room windows, those are the windows we're talking about mostly, and down the business area. And those are original to the building from 19...
What year? What year?
I'm guessing,
70s?
no, 60s.
60s, because I think, yeah,
Definitely, so that section would be in the 60s for sure. That's my guess. So they again have caulking in them that you can't
have to
just
do
mess
carefully.
around with.
Yeah.
So that's why we try to caulk them from the inside and not disturb any of that. And of course, the paint on the outside of those, although we've tested on the inside, didn't find it because latex has been painted over it over the years. But some of the paint from the 1960s were lead-based paint, so
yeah.
those windows on the outside essentially is not a good thing to mess around with either.
Yeah, and I'm not sure back then if,
That's why it's a
Yeah, it's
CIP
like-
project. It's a big
yeah,
project.
like if it's hurricane grade, I don't know if they had, because I'm pretty sure now it probably needs to be hurricane grade, right? The windows?
The high school, it's in a hurricane zone, so anything
Yeah.
has to be,
Like those windows that, once you replace them, probably need to be hurricane grade, because they
That's correct.
probably weren't back in the day.
Yep.
Big assumption on my part.
Well, they've held up pretty well time,
Yeah.
huh?
Now, it seems like a lot of the schools have painting. How are you prioritizing the painting jobs? And,
The worst gets done first.
the worst gets done first.
Worst
What's
is
the
first.
worst on this list there? Oh, you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd be guessing.
I think the best thing that you do, Sam, is when you meet with the
I
principal
think
and you
the
do
middle
your
school is
walks.
probably the worst, to be honest.
Which
with you.
one?
I would say the middle school is the worst.
And it's the newest, one of the newer,
Yeah.
yeah.
How many painters do you have?
I don't have any painters.
Oh, so the maintenance men paint?
My painter retired, so maintenance guys will paint, yeah. Or if it's a big enough job, we'll hire a contractor. We have painting contractors that we do business with.
Do they ever do the spray painting? That's how they did my house. Do they spray paint it?
Kind of hard, it has to be a pretty big space in order to do that.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't do it in the hallways and that, because you got to cover all the floors and everything. 'Cause, you know,
I think that when you touch it, the surface is rough, so it gets dirty really easily,
Yeah.
like spray finish.
When I was building, we would spray it and then we'd brush it once it was on.
Yeah.
It helps it adhere. Otherwise, it's just a film over it.
One more question. When I was up at the high school, I noticed in the front, the concrete is all broken up.
Yeah, that again is going to be another CIP project for next year.
So our high school is going to look like that for another year?
Well, we're going to do some patching this summer, but that entire area needs to be redone.
Yeah.
And it looks like the
It's
door concrete.
yeah,
right?
the unfortunate part is, the unfortunate thing that we have to do is put salt down so that people don't break their necks. But the salt eats the concrete. That's the problem. And it gets in, you can see that in the seams in the concrete, because they're squares, right? That's where it breaks first, is in there. We have some guys that are actually pretty good to make it look halfway decent.
Oh, that'd be bad, because it looks like a hot mess right now.
It is.
So, okay, if we're all set there, thank you, Sam, for that comprehensive review of the maintenance tracker. And
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if Shannon's still on, thank you, she might have left, but
She left.
for joining to assist with, the reporting on Mary Morrison and grants. So I know the future items, attachment 5, right? We have it all the way out to July. Adrian, Bev, if you want to add additional items. Otherwise, for May, Rita had thought about putting the purchasing, since the purchasing policy was approved, right? We were anticipating it was approved, that we would go through the policy and the procedures that she either put in place or enhance, so that we can get a comfort on our acquisitions, and then get a list of major contracts to renew. We know the bus is one, and whatever else may be coming. And then for June, just thinking ahead, by then school will be out and we'll need to review student meal balances. And then, with everything that was taking place with snow and removal and stuff, we pushed out the vehicle replacement tracker, just better getting understanding of how many more vehicles do we have to replace? From my understanding, we had the one that broke down 2 years ago, and then 2 more, right, with the salt issue. So am I wrong in thinking that we're down 3 vehicles right now?
Yes.
Okay, so
She's wrong
No.
or she's right.
we're right. I understand. Yeah, never phrase a question with a don't. Yeah. We're going to review that and see what happens. I noticed the town put in a CIP. I don't know if we get this put in place, maybe for next year
We did
can.
a CIP for vehicles,
Okay.
but it didn't go through.
Okay, we'll try again.
You can try again.
Yeah, we'll try
Oh, so
again.
we didn't budget for them.
I've always had it in my budget,
But didn't
up
this year
until 2 years ago, I think.
Didn't John tell us not to put it in our budget?
I've always had it in the budget since I got here, until 2 years ago, when it got taken out, because I was replacing, we have, I can't remember how many vehicles, 15 or 16 vehicles, but, so we were replacing them every 16 years, essentially. We replace one vehicle each year. is what the plan was, and that's what we were doing up until a couple of years ago, so. And then I was told to put it in the CIP, but then,
So who said, it was John that said to put it in the CIP, correct?
yes, that's what I was told.
And then we didn't get it, so now we have another year of, maybe we can bring that up when we talk to the RTM, that, we didn't put it in there purposely, and we need vehicles. Maybe the police can give us their old vehicles. Can we convert those?
That's what I need these days. I need these guys out there driving around with cars with sirens and lights on.
That's going to work.
So, yeah,
But
Adrian,
Sam, you told us to get there in a hurry.
and then they get stuck on South Road. No, anyway, if you have any other topic items that you would like to add on, feel free to do so. I was thinking, max we could do is 3, so there's some months there that have 2.
Can I just give you a
Sure.
little update on the June 2026 meal balance?
Yes.
It's currently at about $45,000 and could potentially go up to $80,000. However, Heather Summers is working on a plan, so,
Great.
but we're just not, I'm not sure. And then next year with legislation, it's potential that we'll have free breakfast and lunch, so fingers
Yeah.
crossed legislators come through.
Yeah, I heard that on
Yeah.
potentially the entire state, which would be a good thing.
One thing we should probably talk about, and I don't know if it's going to happen here or in the board, but the property next to Fitch High School, I think the gentleman that kind of offered that property for purchase back in January, we should get back to him at some point. And I know Fields didn't meet last month, so.
Well, it's not us, but we can get back to them and say we refer it to Fales and the town, because we have no need for the property.
Do we have, did you ever sit down with Matt and Mark and have talk about possible needs or future needs?
All they could think of is it could be a field space. Could be a potential extra baseball field or a field space, because it's kind of close to that parking lot where the gyms are. But they weren't thinking of building space at that point. They were just thinking of...
Yeah, and that's what we talked about at the meeting, and
And
that's
Mark
why
said
we
he'd bring it
referred
up.
it to John Burton, the athletic task force, because...
And I remember, we can look at, I even read this, Superintendent Austin will speak with the principals and Mark Romano regarding their thoughts of potential uses of the property. And then Ms. White will reach out to John Burt for field task force. So that's what I was asking about, the fact that it's right in there. It said that.
So if you've driven around the back of the high school on that side of the building, you'll know that that's a pinch point.
Yeah.
And because she wouldn't sell that property to us, or enough of that property, to make that a straightaway there so the traffic can get through there a little easier. So that might be one other reason, or one other use of that property is to, and then,
More parking?
well, readjust that drive that is now a tight spot in there.
Especially
Yeah,
since
it would
they're
actually-
Make it a little safer there.
So maybe, since you say that, maybe talking to fire too. I wonder about fire emergency, because it is tight if they feel it's restrictive. I know the buses do a drop off back there, and it's not really wide enough for cars to pass when the bus is passing and stuff too. So maybe there is a traffic engineering issue that we've got going on back there, and I don't know how hard it is to get fire trucks, or if they're worried about parked cars blocking it or something like that.
I like
But
your
maybe-
idea, though, to get some other expertise on that, eyes on that.
Yeah.
More
So-
Fire trucks get around there right now, but not, if you had traffic there, if it were at dismissal or something, or when the teachers were all leaving later, if they were leaving together, or a game was getting out and the fire truck had to get there, it might be a little tough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would be tough, but...
So maybe just, I guess we can put that into that same thing, Susan, that it'll be on, if you can. And then hopefully, we can, and I do have a sketch, or it's actually, it almost looks like a survey of that property that Mr. Franklin dropped off here, that I can get you. So it'll just show the dimensions of the property, basically.
That would be good.
It's not stamped, it's in my car right now. It's a very old piece, I gotta bring it to a printer and have them scan it.
Between maybe the police department and the fire department, if they can look at the sketch and kind of monitor the pattern of traffic.
Maybe, I think we're getting off of our,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but just things to
like-
think about for
Yes,
that
for the next.
meeting. So I guess I would say for the tracker, we should put that somewhat near the top, because Mr. Franklin's emailed me a couple of times saying, are we talking about it? And,
Well, he's not going to hold it forever, right?
well, yeah, I mean, it's already been a few months, 3 months, so we should either say yes or no to him, in fairness to him.
Do we know when the next fields committee meets?
I think it's this month, right?
Yeah, it's this month.
Do they meet every month?
Every
Okay.
third Thursday they meet. Well, you can send them a note saying that, you know,
We referred it.
we started thinking about it as of today. You know, we don't see a need for separate fields, and we refer to the athletic committee, but we're still discussing if the school needs, I don't know, whatever you want to say. If you think you need the property, then say we're still discussing it.
Well, at one time, the girls' softball field was supposed to be built on the field where the band practices now, but I think that's been eliminated from that spot, so maybe that property could be used for girls' softball, for a softball field or something.
Yeah, because I was thinking, Jay, when we had, now I'm getting involved. We'll add it to the May
We're all talking
agenda
about things
item.
that we want to talk about in that.
In the May agenda. So we'll add that to the May agenda.
Never mind.
Never mind. So I want to thank everyone for attending. My fault at the beginning of the meeting. I forgot to announce everyone who is here. So hopefully Joyce can note all of the names. But right now we had Jay and Shannon online. We have Beverly, myself, Adrian, Susan, Rita, and Sam, just for the record. And do I have a motion on the floor to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.